Your very own cat enclosure, part 2. In 2012, I had the idea I would build my own outdoor cat enclosure, and to my surprise, it was so successful for me, and just great. Now this is part 2. It's already May of 2014, and I just want to show you what I've done, and hopefully this will give you ideas to what you can do at your own home. At that time, I had my enclosure set up in a certain way. I had used 7.5 of these galvanized bins that I had picked up, the black wire bins that I had picked up from a Zeller's liquidation sale. And basically that's what I would use today to expand it as well. So definitely, if this is an idea you want to pursue, definitely check out the liquidation centers just to see if you can get a hold of the same material. I was able to get it for very little money. I was able to put together my entire unit, and also now, being 2 years later, I've used a lot of my materials that I picked up from dollar stores. I've added stools and extra old patio furniture I did have in there from a dollar store. I've picked up cedar planks from a dollar store, as well as the cable ties that I used to tie my entire unit together. All came from there. Anyway, let's begin. My little rock stars in there are Sammy and Cleo. I have 2 Manxes. Anyway, what I did was I basically set the bins up close to, right next to the house, to my window. I was able to open the window just to let the cats out. And again, in 2012, I had the camper stool set up just so that, because Sammy's a little bit older than Cleo, I thought it'd be easier for her to get in and out of the window. And it's proved to be just that. It's worked out really well. Now, with the expansion, what I've done is I've kept the bush, the tree in the background in there, and I've added several other plants in here too. And one thing I'll mention at that time I did was I put in cat grass, I put in catnip, just anything that's very pleasing to them. I've put in lavender plants, something that cats really are partial to, and I've put in just different things that they can just walk around. They can hide in tall grass. They can hide in the bushes, which cats love to do. Anyway, let's walk around here now. Like I said, I've used the cable ties. I've used more of, my idea was to use plant holders, and that's something I got from a local Walmart store. Basically, you could even probably get it from a dollar store too. I've used the bungee cords, which I picked up from the dollar store. And I'm not quite done. As you can see, my cable ties have not been all snipped just yet. But anyway, I just wanted to show how I'm holding my roof line together here. It's extremely secure. Another idea, though, that I now know in doing this is if you did want to keep your roofing material a little bit lighter, in the dollar stores especially, they have the storage bins where you basically could cable tie all those together. Your roof would come out a little bit of a lighter metal material, but definitely workable. So as we go along here, you can see that it's just all the edges are just very nice and even. There again, just looking very close inside. At this point in the being May, I've allowed the grass to grow up a little bit higher. Probably I'll go in and I'll trim it a bit and take out some of the weeds. I put in just the fake little kind of grass area where they can kind of perch down there. Kept the stools in there, the cedar plank you can see. It's great because I have a lot of rock in there as well. I find it's a little bit easier for them to just cross over from the carpeted area onto the grassing area. Again, so as we walk along, I used a middle section here. I really wanted to make sure that my unit was very braced through the center, so I put that in there. And again, you can see the bushes and stuff that I've added in here. My whole idea behind this part 2 was to create a garden. The look was to be, without even having cats, the idea was to be, and without even having these galvanized bins around it, was to create this garden area so I would be able to enjoy it. This just makes it that much nicer. I'm able to have this enclosure next to the home. I've got a couple windows now that I'm able to open. And I'll just bend down a bit here. Yeah, and I'm able to open both of those windows just so that they can get in and out. Now, I've been asked a lot about in the wintertime what to do with this kind of situation. Now, my advice would be, if you want, use even a very large patio furniture cover for the roof. In my case, I use my leaf blower to blow out all the snow before it piled up in there. And then they were still able to walk around in there too. Another thing too, you know, for energy efficient for the home, the idea would be to use plexiglass and to cut a cat enclosure door into it. That way they'll be able to come and go without losing any heat. As you can see, I've enclosed this time the cedar tree that we had next to the home. And I've got the extra bushes in there as well, the little plants and stuff. Just makes it even just that much nicer. Cedar plank. And they love it. All I can tell you is I've also been asked about them climbing. What do they use to climb on? Now, lucky for me, I'm in a situation where I've got a 5-foot cat tree just inside the window. So this is basically what they can do. They can go in there, they can exercise on there, they can come out, they can just, you know, browse around in the garden here area. They can perch up on the stools and sit there. They like to lay in the grass in the sun. It's just wonderful. Now, keep in mind, too, I have very relaxed indoor cats, too, and that makes quite a difference. You know, it takes some getting used to. If you're trying to convert your outside cat into an indoor cat and to live in this environment, it may take a bit for sure. But for most indoor cats, they just respond very, very well to this. It gives them that little bit of outdoor time. They don't have to worry so much about any predators. It's been very good so far. I know there's raccoons in the area for sure. That was one of my biggest worries. But anyway, so far it has not even been a factor. So as I go along right here, my idea again was just this whole garden theme. It just becomes just a part of the whole landscaping around the home. As you can see, it's just perfect. And they love, like, cats just love to hide in tall grass. They love to hide amongst the bushes. And it's great. Now, I'm not quite done. Like I explained, I have my cable ties and everything that I've used. They do need to be snipped. Now, I used cutting pliers, just as simple as that, to cut the cable ties. If you need to use bolt cutters, that's another thing I used this time, just to cut some of the metal, just to even it up. And that really made the difference. The plant holders were just an idea I had, like I said, to secure my roof, just to make it even more secure. And I'm probably a little bit maybe overkill with this because I just really, really wanted my roof and everything to be just rock solid. On here, I did little decoration things that I picked up at the dollar store. You can see I got a little kind of a metal cat decoration I can put on the top. I can see from my top window looking down. Just great. Looking inside the enclosure again, you can see the cedar planks I put in there. You can see the bush area. The capper step that they used to come out on. Just absolutely I love it. They love it. It just gives them that little bit of outside time. And it's just great. And they could just root around in there, which is perfect. So I'm just going to back up a little bit on here so we can see the top areas. So I certainly hope this is something you'll be able to do in your home. Like I said, the whole idea for me was to keep the cost down. I know now, like I said, mentioned earlier, that if I wanted to expand on this, I know that I can take my roof line off of here. I know that I could use another type of material, basically purchased from a dollar store, relatively inexpensive. I'd be able to tie it with cable ties on the top and expand my entire unit if I so choose to. Now, other things that people can do is they can create the smaller runways so that against the line of the house, the cats will have a place to run as well. That's something you can do. And the other thing is you can have it so that it's made to any shape you want. In this case, I just decided to stay with a more traditional shape on it. And like I said, it's allowing a lot of room. You can see that the metal that I have in the center, I have enough room on both sides. Like the cats are able to go from one side to the other. Not a problem at all. It's just great. Now, the other thing is that I've been asked questions about, like I said, the winter questions on what to do with keeping it clean and everything. Even in the summer months, what I did was, I don't have a door attachment that I can get into from the outside. Now that's something I'll probably have to definitely still work on. I thought about putting in the gate type of section, which I think would be easy enough for sure. Just if you're one to want to go in and do a little bit of the weeding and landscaping in there and cut the grass. Now, that would be good to be able to do that. So the thing is, other than that, if you've seen my first video, I talked about things like putting the patio furniture in the enclosure. I talked about the plants and the catnip that I use just to give them that little bit of extra. And to make it just as super secure as you possibly can. You can see the cats right now just loving it. Each day is the same. They're out there exploring. They're perched up on the patio furniture. They absolutely love it. And for me, it takes out all the worry. If you have neighbors that are close by, if you were just, for all of us, we all at one time, I'm sure, had outdoor cats, so I could just roam around the yard, but it's not the thing anymore. And you'll find that in city dwellings and that there is a lot of bylaws, so there's something you definitely want to consider. You want them to have a little bit of outside time, but you also want it so that there's, besides being secure, that they're not a worry to your neighbors. They're not next door on their property. They're not, if they have chickens or anything like that, they're not over there making a nuisance of themselves. And this is one way to do it. And this is a very inexpensive way to do it as well. Now, what I'm going to do is just stop the video. I'm just going to pause it for a moment while I go to the upper deck so you can see it from above as well. So this basically shows what it looks like from the upper patio. And again, this was my theme. This was my dream, to have this garden. I can look down on it. I'm sitting there drinking my iced tea and basically having a look at what Sammy and Cleo are doing in the enclosure. It's just great. And besides that, it just gives like a beautiful garden idea to look at. It's just very eye appealing. It looks good against the home. Like I said, I hope this gives you the idea of what you can do. Like I mentioned before in my first video, it's not only just a safe, secure place for your animals, for your cats, maybe small dogs as well. But other than that, it's just giving you that little bit of extra that, you're spending your day. They're secure. You have something that you find eye-appealing in your yard to look at as well. Just a fabulous idea. And most importantly, you've kept your costs down. You've looked at liquidation centers to try and find out where the best materials are for the cheapest price. You've gone to your local dollar stores. You've picked up your cable ties, which I've used in my case. If you want to follow my lead, I've used the planter stands to secure the roofing area. Shelving, that's not something I've gone into yet. Now that's something I may explore again. I talked about that in 2012 as well. So we'll certainly see how that goes in the future. Just different things. Like I said, the cedar planks was a nice little touch too. It just really gives it that rustic look. And, if you want to get in there and you want to cut around your plants, cut the grass and that, certainly do so. The idea with mine was instead of just being on planks itself, just being on a carpeted area even, or a cement area, this way they've got that little bit of lawn area that they can travel on as well, and it's worked out just perfect for them. So anyway, I really encourage you, if you're just starting out, look into this, look into getting these materials, looking into getting the cable ties that you're going to need, get on your rubber gloves, your garden gloves, whatever. And the thing is, if you need to get a bolt cutter to even cut them to make them a little bit more even, do that. It's very light hardware work that you would need to do on this. Get a rubber mallet, pound those into the ground, make sure everything is nice, secure, it's solid. And you know what? You're just going to have something you're going to be able to enjoy for a very, very long time. And so anyway, I hope this part too definitely gives you the idea to be able to do it in your own home. I know I just love it. I'm just looking forward to a summer of being able to look down, drink my iced tea, stare at my cats in their enclosure, And like I said, they're safe. They're loving it. I'm loving it. And all the best to you with creating your own oasis. Thank you.